Since 1990, we have spent millions of euros and tens of thousands of research hours to find scientific answers to life's most important and challenging questions. What makes us happy? What makes us healthy? How can we heal from physical and mental disease? How can we heal emotionally and sexually so we can be happy in our relationships? How can we develop our talents and be of value to the world? We have interviewed more than 15,000 people and asked more than 4,000 different questions. After 20 years of intensive research, we are beginning to find the answers we have been looking for so long. We have already presented these answers in 250 research papers and about 30 books. Now we bring it over to you. To heal, you need to understand yourself. When you understand yourself, you can let go of negative beliefs. But to understand yourself, you need to explore what happened, what gave these negative beliefs. And you can say you need to feel all the feelings and emotions that are oppressed and stored in your body and mind that came from life events, traumatic or less traumatic, from your childhood and earlier life, teenage years. So the formula for healing says feel, understand and let go. Feel your feelings, understand what happened, let go of negative beliefs. To understand, it's a great help to talk. So therapy is very often talk therapy. We are talking about what is happening and what happened and how things are, so you can understand it better. But feelings are not well helped by talk. To feel, you need to go inside yourself in silence, and you need to explore your inner space, and you need to go to the parts of the body which are holding on to emotions. So to explore feelings and emotions, you need to go to your body, and to help this process, you as a therapist can touch the patient on the areas where the emotions are held. For instance, if it's a lot of fear from the childhood, very often the fear will be in the stomach. So if you are lying on the couch and the therapist is holding a hand on your stomach, then it's much easier to approach the fear. So a simple session of bodywork can be, if it's a patient with fear, is that the patient is talking about the fear first, understanding what it is about, and then the understanding stops because obviously something is missing, something is not remembered, something is oppressed. So now the session shifts and the patient gets on the couch, and the therapist will, for instance, put a hand on the stomach, on the belly, and will just sit there for 5 or 10 minutes while the patient is lying and exploring the inner space. And very often strong emotions, if it's fear, a very strong fear, will explode into the surface of consciousness, and suddenly the patient is back in an old extremely strong childhood experience, where maybe it was dark, maybe she was alone, or believed she was alone, or believed there was a foreigner in the house, or whatever it can be. Something horrible that happened. And it doesn't have to be like a big event, dramatic abuse, rape, or all these things, which we often believe is necessary for big traumas. It can just be to be alone on your room when you're 5 years old, and imagine that there's some kind of boogeyman under the bed or something. It doesn't really have to be a big thing to provoke a big fear in a child. So suddenly this is realized, this is understood, the situation is coming back, and the emotion is integrated. With this integration, there's a sudden realization that all the fear, all the insecurity, all the emotional problems are caused or rooted in this phase of childhood. Maybe the parents had a crisis, so they could not really support the child for a couple of years in the vulnerable period of childhood. And in this understanding, everything falls into place, and a lot of negative beliefs are released, and you can see that this is not true, and the patient is suddenly cured for anxiety. So there's a lot of research now that has documented that also for mentally ill patients, young patients, bodywork is extremely helpful, and the reason for this is quite obvious.